Good morning. It is Monday, February 23rd. Home stretch to the end of February. This is the Automotive State of the Union. I'm Paul J. Daly. I have the one and only Michael Cirillo at the helm. Today we're talking about dealer counts and EVs, actually used EVs specifically, and consumers delaying big purchases across the spectrum. But I will say, since Michael will be co-hosting the show 3 times this week, we didn't waste any time to make sure that we spent the first 10 minutes before we hit go on this laughing.
I feel so happy this morning.
Oh, I've laughed more in the last 10 minutes than I did all last week, I think. Nathan's rolled his eyes more in the last 10 minutes than he had all last week.
That is true. That is true. As any good, well-respected producer would do, he rolls his eyes and it keeps the universe in check.
It really does. Hey, the new studio is looking great, my friend.
Oh, shucks. This old thing.
Yeah.
It's a never-ending work in progress. There's just in the time from the show start, 10 seconds ago to now, I'm like, well, that needs to change, but we'll get there.
I mean, I feel like if you're not changing a studio, then you've given up on anything, because
14 years into this whole content creation journey, and I'm like, a little
insight into Michael Cirillo. He'll be unhappy with one little element of his studio. Be like, you know what? This cable's kind of getting in my way. We'll get off a call 3 minutes later. He sends me a picture of all the cables on the floor. Now I've done it, he says, right? And, right? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, man. We had a lot of excitement last week over our bolt-on event for a SodaCon called the Auto Industry AI Summit. Pop that graphic up there. This is the day before a SodaCon. So it is May 12th, I believe, right? Yes, 12th. The day before a SodaCon. You can come in for one day to be together with the most progressive minds in AI in automotive and a little bit beyond. We have some special speakers to announce soon. This is a practitioner's event. Come with your laptop, be ready to try new prompts, be ready to learn about new products, be able to, most importantly, meet the other people who are all in on how to implement AI effectively in their dealership, the other practitioners, which is the most value. You can come in for just the day, or for just $20, you can bolt this onto your SodaCon ticket. So you can go to summit.autoindustryaI.com, summit.autoindustryaI.com, and you can see this really dope site that you can render in code mode or render in clean mode.
It's actually summit.autoindustry.ai.
What did I say? Don't say it. Don't say it again.
I know. Summit.autoindustry.
AI. And probably if you go to autoindustry.ai, you can get there. If you didn't know, we have a newsletter that goes out every week that just talks about AI stuff. So there you go. That's a lot of fun. We want to thank today's sponsor of the show, ESIQ. Exit interviews, Michael does some of these, are fascinating. It's basically someone saying, oh yeah, I've been unhappy since last March of last year. The retail auto industry loses nearly $20 billion a year due to turnover, and most of it just doesn't happen overnight. That's why smart dealers are using ESIQ to measure how your team actually feels in real time so you can fix issues before they turn into 2 weeks notices. ESIQ is the auto industry's leading workforce research partner. Translation, they give you the data you can act on early. Visit ESIQ.com or .ai to learn more, ESIQ.ai. Michael, we've been a part of a few exit interviews where there are things that come up that could have been brought up before.
And I'm like, how much can I reveal right now? No,
no, time to move on. Yes. No, I mean, you've been in business. You and I have been in business for like decades, right? So we've had a lot of these things, and even before we did exit interviews, which is not a good idea, by the way.
Yeah. And I mean, there's always a surprise. There's always something that you're like, you know?
Yep.
So
yeah, there you go. Let's get into some news, shall we? The latest automotive news dealer census shows a network that's slimming down overall, but getting stronger as OEMs are right-sizing their footprints. Throughput is actually climbing, and single brand stores are on the rise. U.S. started 2026 with 18,300 dealerships, just 11 fewer than last year, but total franchise points dropped 1.5%. Single brand stores rose 1.2%. Locations to 13,351 locations as automakers are continuing network consolidation strategies. Buick, Lincoln, Jaguar all shrank their networks overall intentionally to boost their in-store or per-store performance. Average franchise annual throughput across the industry is up 4.1% to an average of 532 vehicles annually in 2025, with Toyota leading at 1,736 units per store on average, and they're up 8%. 19 brands improved through 2025, but 24 brands saw declines, including 12 brands down more than 10%. As networks are shrinking, the gap between healthy franchises and struggling ones is widening.
This brings two things to my mind, that this isn't just happening now. This has been something in the works that's been happening for a decade, right? We've kind of seen signals that would lead us to this point today. And the thought for me there is, stop waiting to hear the I don't know, the throughput of the ripple effect. Start paying attention to the pebble that drops in the water,
Yeah, I mean, I think that the dealers that are doing well are the ones that actually are the ones not reading this report.
Yeah, right. Well,
they're the ones
as
focused.
As it is in anything, right? And we're also seeing this, like,
true.
I don't know why the visual of like a Russian nesting doll comes to my mind, which is, if you're a single rooftop, if you're a single point, you should maybe look at buying that second store if you can, because we're seeing this kind of, I don't know why it's making me think of a consolidation. Bigger groups, slightly bigger groups are going to look at acquiring slightly smaller groups, and those slightly smaller groups are looking at acquiring the single points. And so the best thing you could do in your wealth management strategy is, if you're a single point, get a second point, because somebody's going to be coming to look for your two stores.
There you go. Speaking of financial strategy,
Segue.
Talking a lot about this. This is an interesting report. When the $7,500 EV tax credit disappeared, most used EV prices fell, except for Tesla. While mainstream electric models lost value and OEMs started discounting hard, Tesla resale prices actually went up, which drug the whole market up with it. Used Tesla prices rose 4.3% since the credit ended, while other brands dropped an average of 3.6%. It's a pretty big delta. Because Tesla makes up such a big slice of the market, overall used EV prices actually rose 3.5%. A little bit of a mirage. Lower cost EVs like the Kona Electric, the ID4, the Nero, and the Mach-E all lost 5 to 6% in just a few months. The Porsche Taycan was the only non-Tesla model to see an increase at 4.1%. Overall, the used EV market share fell 20% in 4 months, suggesting mainstream buyers aren't rushing in, even with heavy new EV discounts. And we have a couple people in our ecosystem that are measuring this pretty close too.
Yeah, I mean, this is like one of those rip the Band-Aid off moments. I think at the end of the day, what we're really seeing is, if you want to drive an EV, you're going to go and look for an EV. If you want to drive an ICE vehicle, you're going to go and look for one of those. The incentive, in my opinion, the incentive could have just been a thing that skewed the numbers on actual interest. Like, people go, oh, well, it's $7,500, might as well.
Right.
In the same way people buy that second hot dog at IKEA because it was only 10 cents more,
oh my God,
to get two. And it's like, now we're going to potentially, if you rip this incentive Band-Aid off, we're going to get a truer sense of demand and interest. And it's not bad. It's just, it is what it is. We're still early, I would say, in this whole EV experiment. And so, when you see numbers like the Porsche, price increase at 4.1%, and you see things like that, I mean, there's indicators out there that people are going to drive EVs because they just want to drive an EV.
I feel like this has implications on consumer trust in the brand overall. When there's a $7,500 credit, or whatever, $4,000 credit on a used EV, whatever it was, it incentivizes you to buy for affordability's sake. But I think now, like you said, when people who want an EV are in the used EV market, I think it just shows that people trust Tesla, that they're not going to change things, that they know what they're doing because they've been in the game for a while, which is why when people are just purely in the market for the market's sake and not for the incentive sake, it just shows that they were choosing Tesla over the Mustang Mach-E, over the Kona ID4. I think just because Tesla has a longer track record and people know what the used Tesla is going to do in 5 years, we just don't have that track record yet. Truth is, a lot of these are great vehicles. Like the Mustang Mach-E is an excellent EV if you've ever driven one or owned one. It's just not as the longevity isn't the proof isn't there yet. I'd be really curious to see what our friend Jimmy Douglas has to say, or Alex Lawrence has to say about this. Maybe we'll reach out to them for a comment, because they certainly have a deeper level of insight that maybe we'll seek out.
Well, what I do know is I usually use my wife as the litmus test because we had a Tesla,
Right.
and we've done the whole consumer life cycle. Then we got scared because we're putting so many miles on it, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is not going to be good. And we were still early in the whole thing.
Yeah.
She loves the vehicle she drives now. It's functional for what she wants. She loves it. But every now and again, dude, she will comment on the driving experience she misses in her Tesla. And I'm like,
Very interesting.
it was a knee-jerk thing, and to your point about Alex Lawrence, he's like, dude, he's so kind, but he was like, you're dumb. you made a knee-jerk. That was dumb. But anyways.
Speaking of not making knee-jerk decisions.
Segue.
How do you do it? Is all I want to know.
What?
The segue.
I mean, it's been almost 1,300 episodes. I hear
That's
them
fair.
I hear them in my sleep. I do everything I can in like real world person-to-person conversations not to just yell, stop.
Now I'm picturing like a nighttime conversation with your wife. You're pulling down the pillows and you just look at her and go, stop. Speaking of sleep.
Speaking of getting out of my way, right?
Oh, man, listen to this. Consumers are still spending, just not on the big stuff. Higher interest rates and tight housing turnover push shoppers towards smaller upgrades and essential repairs in 2025, a trend expected to continue through 2026. Spending slowed across income groups late in 2025, especially households under $40K and over $150,000.
That's interesting.
Large discretionary purchases like furniture and mattresses slowed sharply. What the heck did people do on President's Day then? While decor, kitchen items, and maintenance held up. Home improvement spending softened for a third straight year, but remains above pre-pandemic levels. And retailers focused on everyday repairs like Ace, Sherwin-Williams, Menards. Ooh, I like a good Menards. We don't have them here. And Rural King outperformed the broader category. So as Consumer Edge put it, it's a, quote, reset of priorities, close quote, with consumers favoring durability and value over big commitments. Interesting.
Well, I think what this tells us in our industry is we're going to have to make it very, very, look very, very good for a consumer to trade in their vehicle, purchase a new vehicle, right? So we have to work really hard to show them the value and where their car is, where their equity situation is, how they can actually win by trading up somehow. And then also we have to be ready in the service departments to understand that people are in this mindset when they walk into our service departments. Retail mindset overarchingly is that they're pulling back on big commitments, meaning explaining why your vehicle needs the service and maintenance it needs really, really well at the beginning, during the pre-write, during the walk around can, and people who are using video and service even more so, but pre-explaining it, knowing that people are already in the mindset of how do I make this vehicle last another year, another 2 years. I also think there's an opportunity to talk about detailing services. It's a little bit of my pedigree. But there's no doubt when someone's deciding to keep their car, they might be willing to spend $200 or $300 on a really great detailer to fix some of those cosmetic things, because we all know a clean car drives better. And so I think there's some opportunity there, knowing that consumers are in this mindset on the service side, and then also knowing they're in this mindset on the sales side to really get more aggressive with how we communicate value of trading up.
Yeah, by the way, there's a win here. I mean, the first thing I'd be doing is looking to see if my manufacturer gives or pays out for things like mobile pickup and delivery in the service department, because I know some manufacturers like Ford definitely do that, and it's good. It's like $100 plus for a mobile pickup and delivery in the service department. And now there's an even more compelling case, like, hey, you don't even need to come to our building.
That's right.
And sit around and eat, stale popcorn.
Oh, come on. It's not that bad.
It's not that bad, but
some places
some places. but to bring that value proposition back to the service department, you could absolutely do that. And I know some dealers that are deploying a fleet of Lyft and Ubers to go and pick customers up, go and facilitate vehicle pickups and things of that nature to make it even that much more convenient for their customers. And so that's something I would definitely look into here to bolster up the service department.
I think whichever way you cut it, This sounds like a world of opportunity from the first story to the last story. You get to control what happens inside your store. Pay attention to the other people who are the front runners who are also paying attention. And funny thing is, you'll be in the same place.